Hello, my name is Major Ellis and this is Project Morality. Today, I will be concluding the project after several interviews and much information about Immanuel Kant. Several months ago, I had an idea to create a project that takes one of the most influential morality philosophers, one that has had one of the greatest impacts on modern-day philosophy and moral philosophy in general, has really made himself important in the field, and to factor him into modern-day life and into the views of modern-day people with their perspectives on morality and their individual views. This philosopher, as you know, is Immanuel Kant. And after first reading and understanding the groundwork for the Metaphysics of Morals, I broke it down to the most simplistic terms possible. From there I read biographies of Kant. I wanted to know what it was that influenced him and inspired him to write the moral philosophies that he did in the way that he did. What really brought about the nuances of his moral philosophy. It was pretty simplistic. His parents were devout and pietistic Christians. He was raised in a pietistic Christian home. They conducted their lives in a very Christian manner, with Christian values, Christian beliefs. In one of the videos I discussed how there was a labor dispute and they treated their enemies with much respect and with their own code of morality. Furthermore, as we discussed in the video What is Enlightenment, Kant was very much inspired by the time in which he lived, the Enlightenment era, much the same as the mathematicians and scientists made progress during the Enlightenment in their fields. Kant made a lot of progress with the moral philosophy in his field. From here, I'd come full circle. I had understood his groundwork for the Metaphysics of Morals, and I understood his influences and inspirations behind where that came from. But I needed to branch out into what other people thought, what other intellectuals thought about his beliefs and his morality philosophy. I looked to the critics, and while critics are awful, at least they have a very analytical view of Kant. But critique after critique after critique, I read the same line. Kant is amazing. His work is flawless and incredible, and his exemplary picture of what Enlightenment moral philosophy was. And then it came to an issue. It said, but Kant assumes too much in terms of universality. He assumes that there is a universal morality. This cannot be. Morality is not universal, so on and so forth. I had to go back to the beginning of each one, to the introduction, and make sure that I was reading not the same one over and over again, but different critiques. And in fact, I was. And so I set out to figure out a list of questions, as I've discussed in the interview video, what it is that I needed to ask people to get to the heart of the matter in terms of, is morality universal or isn't it? Does it still exist today? Do people still have a moral code? And if they do, which I was pretty sure people have a moral code, what is it? And the critics were right. Morality, as a single simplistic code of conduct, does not exist. Morality is not one set of rules, the Ten Commandments, the Constitution, the laws of Hammurabi, that we can follow and abide by. There isn't something inside of us like a template that says, here are your moral codes, enter, this is how you will live. Morality is something that's constantly evolving and is subjective to each race and time, to each culture, to each religion, to every person. Morality is not universal as one code of conduct. Morality is individual as a code of conduct. Each and every one of us has a morality inside of them that most nearly helps them preserve themselves in a society. My code of conduct helps me preserve myself in West Texas, United States. it is conformed to the code of conduct that is most generally accepted here. But that brings me to something much more pressing. If morality is present in everyone and occurring everywhere, therefore morality is universal. Morality is universal insomuch that it is everywhere and present and occurring everywhere. And that's when it hit me, that we all have this morality inside of us, and it's this individual code that we all follow based on our own beliefs. And that's exactly what Kant was saying. He wasn't trying to conform us as humans, he was trying to understand us as humans, to understand what we most generally accept. That is what the groundwork for the metaphysics of morals is. It is a breakdown of what people believe. Therefore, Kant wrote not about a moral code for the universe, not a universal moral code in terms of we should all follow this code, it will work for everyone. But he tried to capture what most of us believe in our universal morality. Kant did not write a moral code for the universe, he wrote about a universal moral code in which most of the aspects that he wrote about apply to our everyday lives. He tried to capture the essence of what most people believe. There are always exceptions, but Kant's view is the most understanding, simplistic way to break down what it is that we believe. In one of the videos, it came up that morality is knowledge, and in the same vein, it also came up that the Golden Rule, for instance, or different teachings like that have been around for a very long time. In this case, we're looking to the Bible, both the Golden Rule, and then you'll see that morality is knowledge is something from the book of Genesis in the Judeo-Christian Bible. Adam and Eve, supposedly the first humans that lived in the Garden of Eden, tasted knowledge and then knew that being naked, being nude, was immoral. They sought to preserve themselves with that code of knowledge, with that knowledge that they had presented to themselves, what was moral. And so, furthermore, you have the Golden Rule, which is a teaching that's been passed down, is first quoted in Matthew for the Judeo-Christian belief, which was 2,000 years ago, and then it would have come from an amalgam of other religions that were around that time. Therefore, there's a general idea that this morality is very similar in all of us, and it has been passed down through books, religions, cultures, and ideas, and so that is why we don't kill each other, because we seek to preserve ourselves in a society of cohabitation. There's something present there that we all abide by to form the human race, and that is what Kant was writing about, is the essence of the nuances of what it is that makes us human in terms of a cohabitable group. And so that's what morality is, and that's what Project Morality has been all about. So thank you very much for your time and attention in watching the project, and if you ever do come across this in later years, let me know if you wish to see a documentary version about this that may eventually erupt out of the idea that could be expanded upon so much with more time and attention to the entire project. So once again, this is Project Morality, and I'm your host, Major Ellis. Sapere Aude.